Welcome back to the Moonchild Podcast. I'm your host, Elijah KB, and today we're going to be talking about forgiveness. Okay. Specifically forgiving yourself. Okay. It's time to let that shit go. Alright. It's really time to let that shit go. You spent way too much time holding on to that. You spent way too much time blaming yourself. And in certain situations, it is for you to take accountability, but it's not for you to constantly punish yourself over and over again. You understand? This has to come to an end. That's the message that we're talking about today. That's what we're talking about today, is forgiving yourself. You are worthy of forgiveness. All right. I don't care what you've been thinking, how long you've been, battling with this and punishing yourself for it. It could be personal. It could be something that you've done to someone else. You know what I mean? Make your peace with it, process it. Emotionally process it. Make sure you really get that done for yourself. And at the end of it all, though, I'm gonna need you to forgive yourself. Okay? It's time to move on. It's time to move forward and stop carrying the load that you've been carrying by not forgiving yourself, by constantly replaying it over and over again until it starts to live in your subconscious mind and makes its home there and starts to affect how you value yourself and what you think about yourself. You understand? It starts to devalue you. It starts to eat away at you. You know what I mean? It starts to affect, how you view the world. It starts to poison you. It's quite natural that we're gonna do things in our lifetime that we're not always proud of, right? That's gonna happen. It's natural. You're not gonna it's not gonna not happen to anybody, right? It's natural. It's gonna happen. You understand? But it's really important for you to accept that, take accountability if it is something you need to take accountability for. I'm not here to pamper you in a way of or not pamper you, enable you. If you are familiar with me, familiar with my content, that's one thing I will not do for you. Because in the end, I'm not actually doing it for you. It's not something that benefits you. So if it's something that you need to take accountability for, take accountability for it, for sure. But accountability does not mean that you have to punish yourself from here on out. Deal with the emotions of it. Face them. A lot of us are carrying shit that's so far back in our subconscious mind that we don't recognize it's still there. You understand? We think it's dealt with, and that we are over it, or it's old, so it shouldn't affect you. But I'm gonna tell you that if you never dealt with it, then it's still going to affect you 1,000,000%. That's just how it works. If it doesn't get its proper process, it's still there. Okay, it's still there. If it never got dealt with, like I said, it's still gonna be there. So yeah, Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. We we start to think that like for some reason, everybody else is worthy of that. But, we're looking for somebody else to tell us it's okay. Or that, and not that we are really, but subconsciously, a lot of times we can't tell ourselves that and believe it. So this is why I found it important to bring the message to you today from me. You know what I mean? For whatever that's worth. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that makes any difference. But if you've come to value my opinion, value, what I have to say, what I have to offer, in terms of advice and, things like this, when I talk about things like this on the podcast, then, let this help you. You understand? But yeah, like I said, man, forgive yourself. Stop carrying that shit. It's really time to put that shit down. Like, you've done enough carrying it. You've done enough moping. You've done enough soaking in it. You've done enough blaming yourself. You've done enough beating yourself up. You've done enough punishing yourself. You've done enough, you know, not pouring into yourself as much because you feel like you're supposed to suffer because of whatever you did or whatever you're responsible for or whatever. Sometimes it's not as deep as, it tends to become. You understand? It could be you just fucking up. You know what I'm saying? You might have fucked up in your life a few times. You know what I mean? Did some shit that you're not proud of, and that's fine. I mean, it's fine. You gotta understand, like, it's okay. Like, it's really okay. Like, you're forgiven. All right. Forgive yourself. All right. So that's it. You know what I mean? I don't really got much else to talk about tonight. It's not much else I can say. Um, I didn't want to make any notes for this one. I didn't want to structure it in a way to where it loses its authenticity of me speaking with you. That's what felt authentic today for this one. For the other ones, what I did for those is what felt right. Is what, my gut was telling me, like, this is how you should deliver it. For this one, it's just really a conversation, man. It's just regular ass conversation. Like, just regular words, you know what I mean? To talk straight to you. Because I understand what it's like to hold on to shit and not forgive myself and secretly punish myself. Secretly chip away at my own self. But I am forgiven. You are forgiven. You understand? You don't want to. You shouldn't hold on to this any longer. Whatever it is. All right? And this message is for whoever the fuck it's for. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have anything or anybody specific in mind, but this is just what came to me. So I'm delivering the message. If it's for you, great. I mean, if it's, for somebody great. Understand? So that's all I got for y'all tonight. This has been the Moonchild Podcast with the Moonchild, his motherfucking self, Elijah KB. Thank you. I appreciate you. Forgive yourself. God damn it. For those interested in spiritual advice, I now have a page where you can sign up for a one-on-one hour session with myself. The link will be in the description. And for any questions and topics for the podcast, feel free to email them to me.